Welcome to the Resilient Woman Leadership Podcast, where professionally minded women explore the art of grounding into the powerful foundation that makes us resilient leaders in business and in life. I'm your host, Kathryn Regganie, and I believe that when we women connect deeply with our truest selves, we can collectively shift our leadership culture towards compassion, cohesion, and true creativity. Hello again, and this week I am so excited to introduce to you Rouba Chalabi. She is a seasoned breathwork facilitator and food addiction counselor. She specializes in helping overeaters and hardworking achievers manage stress, find balance, and reconnect with their bodies. With over 20 years of experience in the corporate world in senior level public affairs, Rouba embarked on a transformative journey, both physically, emotionally, and spiritually. This journey inspired her to support individuals struggling with their relationship with food and stress. Her unique approach blends breathwork techniques with food addiction recovery, offering a path towards emotional balance, mental clarity, and overall well-being. Rouba is the author of Beyond the Emptiness, How I Found Fullness Outside of Food, where she shares her personal insights on overcoming food addiction and finding peace from within. Today, she dedicates her life to guiding others towards tranquility, helping them cultivate resilience and confidence to live happy and healthy lives. Welcome, Rouba.
Thank you. So nice to be with you.
Yes, I'm so excited for this conversation, just because I think food is such an important element when we're talking about resilience and stress management. So, Rouba, can you kind of just tell us about how did you get to be in this specialty?
Yes. So it's basically my lived experience. Until the age of 39, I was a superwoman, highly successful, thinking that I was the most resilient woman in the planet, except that I was fueling my resilience through overeating. And I was overweight, hated my body, had a kind of, my body was literally my enemy. So I would overwork it. I would push myself through, treat my body like a robot. And then when I couldn't push through anymore, I would just overeat. And what happened is, even though my life looked very glorious on the outside, I was increasingly miserable. I felt like I spent all of my life pursuing career success, academic success, then career success, then financial success, to reach the level of a vice president. And I was the first in the league of all of my friends and anybody to be a vice president. And I was like, I don't like it. I am miserable. I am unhappy. I'm drowning in sorrow and unease. And somehow there was nobody really to listen to me, because everybody felt like, you're amazing, you're a superwoman. And this was the beginning of my inner quest of understanding what has led me to where I am. So I had a burnout. There were a lot of changes happening in the corporation that really led me to feel like I've dedicated all of my life to work. And then work doesn't show me the appreciation that I expect work to show me, which really led me to question my choices in terms of pouring all of my eggs in the work basket. I found myself at the age of 39 feeling very, very bitter. I was overweight. It was a very stressful period, so I was even gaining more and more and more weight. I felt I was lonely. Whatever guy I would meet would ghost me within 3 weeks. So I felt like, what's wrong with me? Like, I'm unlovable. And yeah, because I was very busy and because I was traveling all the time, my phone would only ring for work or for family emergencies. Literally, everybody was sucking my blood. And I was depleted. I was a leaking tank. Whatever I would do to recharge stopped working. And that was the beginning of my journey. And that started my spiritual path of understanding what's happening, which led me to realize that I have spent all of my life taking care of everybody, of performing, of attending, of supporting. And the one thing that I was neglecting was myself.
Mm-hmm.
And the only person on whom I had a span of direct control was myself, and I wasn't using it. And 6 months down my spiritual journey, I was like, okay, I'm going to change that. I'm going to change this trajectory. I'm going to start a self-love journey where I'm going to prove to myself that I love myself through action, because I had a wrong understanding of self-love. I thought that self-love was pampering myself, going on fancy vacations, treating my family, my parents on fancy vacations, purchasing expensive things, not realizing that most of self-love is free of charge. It's really about giving myself permission to rest, allowing myself to say no, establishing boundaries, not forcing myself to do things, and noticing what I like versus what I dislike, because I had no clue what I liked. Someone asked me that question. It's like, what do you like? What are your favorite things? And I'm like, I'm very flexible. I accommodate anything. And hence started my journey of discovering this stranger, this enemy inside of me. That was me.
Yeah. One of the things that you said, Ruba, which I sort of took me back because I can relate to it, is the fact that you tried to reach out for some support, but nobody understood.
Yeah.
You've got it all. Look at your job. Look at everything you have. You're good. You don't need support. But in reality, when you don't have that support, it's really tough, especially when you're in a place like you're talking about where you don't even like yourself. So you need help just to be okay with the fact you don't like yourself right now.
Yeah. The only unsolicited support I would get was stop eating.
Ah,
Mm.
oh, that's helpful.
Oh, you've gained weight. Don't tell me you've gained weight. Oh, why don't you just reduce the amount of food you eat? Look
Yeah.
at your butt. It's become so big. This was the feedback that I would get. Aren't you bored of continuously having to buy new clothes? That's what my mom would tell me.
Oh my goodness. Instead of
What a
saying,
waste of money. What a waste of money. You waste so much money buying expensive clothes, and then you wear them like once or twice, and then they don't fit and you give them away.
yeah, wow. Yeah, that's tough. And then just to have the wherewithal just to realize, okay, nobody's going to help me with this. I need to help myself.
Yeah, I guess life throws at us opportunities of awakening,
Yeah.
and sometimes we're not ready, so we push through and we change directions. Um, uh, I mean, change directions in a way like we take another road so that we don't see what we need to learn, what lesson we need to learn. And other time, life throws at us things that make us vulnerable, that breaks our ego. And that's when growth starts.
Hmm.
It's to really realize that I'm not enjoying being the all-powerful, resilient superwoman. This facade that I had developed as a coping mechanism in my childhood was not serving me. This identity was not serving me.
Right. Right. It had run its course.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I'm just curious, a lot of times people use something like food. We don't hear that as much as we do like alcohol and drugs, but food can be just as addicting to sort of help. Well, it was interesting because you said you used food to fuel yourself to get through the stress that was in that corporate adrenaline driven sort of environment. So you use the food to help fuel that, not knowing what else to go through. I mean, I'm just putting words in your mouth now, but can you kind of describe
Yeah.
that a little bit more, kind of go into that piece of it?
So it really starts very early in childhood.
Mm.
If we take a baby and the attitude of the caregiver or the mother towards this crying baby, if a baby cries and the caregiver picks up the baby, soothes the nervous system of the baby, understands what the baby exactly needs, the baby gets to know I am seen. If I'm going through discomfort, I should not be afraid because someone will come and help me, and I'll figure out a way to move my nervous system from a place of discomfort to a place of tranquility. If a mother is very regimented or super busy with multiple kids or does not have the psychological and emotional awareness, she might want to discipline the baby and say, no, it's not time to eat. I'm going to discipline my child, my baby, my baby who's few weeks old and few months old, not to cry. And what happens in this process is a total shutdown and a divorce with the body. The
Oh,
baby realizes, I'm not seen. I should fear any discomfort. I should swallow it, numb myself. I should swallow my discomfort because there's nobody to hold space for my discomfort. And then what happens in this process, especially if the mother is not very attuned to her body or to her body, if she's not attuned to her body, there's no way she can be attuned to anybody else's body. She's not attuned to the baby's body. So whatever the baby's going through, food is the go-to tranquilizer. So what
mm,
happens, the baby does not divorces from the body, is not connected to their emotions, do not know what's happening. And even before they realize that stress is accumulating, they're numbing themselves with food. They have this automatic response of tranquilizing themselves with food or alcohol or whatever, like a kind of an addiction. In my case, it was using food as a coping mechanism. But then again, the painful reality as I was growing up, the obsession was so much around stop eating.
mm.
So you think you're so broken for having such a large appetite because growing up as an overeater, I was not aware that overeating is the outcome of other unaddressed issues. I thought overeating is the problem and that I need to control my overeating through using willpower and depriving myself from food or having to over exercise and exercise more so that I slim down. And that's where there is a total misunderstanding of the equation because there's so much fixation on the eating behavior rather than the underlying reasons that are causing us to eat, to overeat. Because our body is not actually hungry for food. Our body is telling us, I am uncomfortable. Can you connect with me and attend to me and take care of me? But because we don't have this reflex, we go automatically to food.
Mm. I'm I'm taking that in. I really like that. It's like a signal. Attend to me, take care of me. And when you don't have any other mechanism other than food, then it's more difficult to look for other ways.
Yeah.
So I really think that's a really interesting perspective. And you're also then talking about really paying attention to your body. What does your body need? And that's kind of where I live as well. When you're talking about the body, talk to me a little bit about what are some of the signals that you notice now, um, or help your clients with, what do they need to recognize within themselves to change?
So first of all is improving their body connection. And improving your body connection involves a number of steps. And actually, I have a free guide for that. So for those looking into it, there's a free guide called How to Stay Calm Without Overeating that takes you through a journey of reflecting about your connection to your body and experiencing what is a connection to a body, and have you reflect how does that feel to be connected to your body. So I really invite you to download it and to experiment with it. So body connection is a gradual process. First of all, it involves awareness.
Hmm.
Having an awareness is being able to pause, connect your breath, meditate, being able to have some form of mindfulness. And for overachievers that complain, oh, no, I cannot meditate. I cannot do any yoga because it has some meditation. That's a very big warning sign of a total divorce with the body.
Mm.
Because you're living outside of the body. And what's happening when you are over accomplished and you are so much into performing and doing, it's the antidote of being present in your body. You're either in the past or you are in the future, but you're not in the present. And what happens is the need to cultivate this presence in the body without judgment. Because if you're overaccomplished from a very young age, whether it's through your education or your survival, you gaslight your emotions. Why am I overreacting? Does it require this much? I don't think that person was triggering. It's me who's overreacting. Why am I taking it personal? I shouldn't feel angry. There's nothing that deserves me to be angry. Why am I scared? I should be grateful. I have a roof under my head. We come up with all kind of excuses to belittle whatever negative experience we might be having. And the invitation is connect and be present. And if there's an inner volcano inside of me, or if there's an inner turbulence inside of me, is to be present in that inner turbulence. That's why when I work with overeaters, I really teach them how to release stress. One basic technique of releasing stress is sighing out. And
Yeah.
if you go around, how many people were scolded as teenagers? It's very impolite
Yeah.
to sigh out.
Yeah.
And what we were scolded for is what our nervous system needs. It's sigh out, exhale, take all of the stress outside of us. Because what's happening instead, especially if you are someone who prides herself to be a resilient woman, you're swallowing your stress. You're doing.
You're
So
eating it.
whenever
Yeah.
you're swallowing it. So whenever you catch yourself in an uncomfortable situation, you're just swallowing your saliva. You're tightening your throat. And then you wonder why you binge afterwards. Is because like there's so much anger in your teeth. You want to chew something. You want to open your mouth. And the journey is about exhaling out.
Oh gosh, I love that. I love that. And being okay with some of those like monsters you're talking about inside, just being aware that they're there and getting really curious about what they need or want, or, what is it about this monster that's making me overeat or making me angry, or, whatever that emotion is. I like that.
Yeah, because if there's turbulence inside of us, it means that there's something wrong. It's not important to know what's wrong. What's important is to take action to feel better.
Yeah.
We have a tendency to go and analyze, why am I not well? It's not the right time. Da, 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 da. Whereas it's not the right time to analyze what's wrong and what needs to be fixed. What's happening? My body is very vocal and it's telling me I am not okay. And as you said, rather than gaslighting ourselves and pretending that everything is okay, and then a few hours later, overeating to calm our nervous system down, it's like, okay, I'm going to pause, connect to myself, and just be present with me. And notice, I am not okay right now. Do I need to take a break? Is there a meeting I can cancel? Is there something I can postpone to create more space? Because I can't keep on going at the pace that I'm going right now. I need to create room for me to feel better. I need to scale up my self-care. I need to rest. I need to have fun. I need to chill. I need to relax. I need to sit in quiet and not talk to anyone. Our body is hungry for care, and it's hungry for a zillion things that are not food related. Our body is hungry for connection. It's hungry for safety. It's hungry for yelling at someone and saying, enough, I can't take it anymore. I can't take the circus anymore. It's hungry for boundaries. It's hungry for silliness. It's hungry for intimacy. We are hungry for a zillion things out there. And for overeaters, there's no automatic wiring in the brain that takes you to other sources of relaxation and pleasure. What you do is there's turbulence, the wiring goes immediately into overeating.
Yeah. Yeah, so interesting. This is amazing conversation, Rouba, and I feel like we could go on for another hour, but we're out of time. So can you tell us a little bit more about how to get in touch with you if anybody wants to learn a little bit more about what you do?
Yeah, sure. I have a website, and it's going to be down in the details, so you can just read it. It's www.roubachalabi.com. I'm not going to spell it out right now. I think you can just look down and find it. I'm also on Instagram. I'm also on LinkedIn. I would love you to download the guide and to go through this journey of connecting to your body and reflecting about your connection and learning more about yourself. I've also got a book. It's Beyond the Emptiness, How I Found Fullness Outside of Food. There's a link to check where you can access it, but the shortcut, it's on all Amazon stores online. You can download an ebook, or you can actually order a copy of the book. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Excellent. And all of this will be in the show notes. So if you didn't catch any of it, we'll make sure to have it in the show notes. But Rouba, thank you so much for joining us today. I really enjoyed our conversation and look forward to having some more.
Yes, sure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. You're welcome. Thanks for listening to the Resilient Woman Leadership Podcast. Remember to take my Dragon Woman quiz at dragonwomanquiz.com. In just 2 minutes, this fun quiz will reveal your Dragon Woman and connect you to the resources so that you can leverage your power for good. And if you've enjoyed this episode, subscribe now so you can hear more inspiring stories from other resilient, wise women who will uplift and inspire you. Your review really matters to me, so please gift me back by reviewing this episode. Want more Kathryn? You can find me at energy-pathways.com.